Ralph Dunstan decided there weren't enough Cornish folk songs, so he just went through Cecil Sharp with a dose of salts and chose his like 100 favourites and completely rewrote them all with Cornish references. And that previous song is from that dubious collection. So, but I just like it. It's good fun. Here's a road song. It's the middle of the night on the Indiana line. I'm pulling down a Christian station. The signal's crystal clear, but I can hardly hear what he says about revelation. I am wretched, I am tired. The preacher, he's on fire. I wish I could believe him. Whoever watches over all these truckers, spare a little mercy for a weary sinner. Good Lord, deliver me. Good Lord, deliver me. Good Lord, deliver me to the next best western. Made the land, but the tremble in the hand that reaches out to take my quarter. I look him in the eye, but there isn't any time, just time to pass tinder. Oh, the highway takes its toll, the green light flashes go. It's welcome to Ohio. Whoever watches over all these truckers, spare a little mercy for a weary sinner. And good Lord, deliver me. Good Lord, deliver me. Good Lord, deliver me to the next best western. It takes light years for these stars to shine through, to light the way that brings me back to you. It's 4 a.m. on 80 East, and it's the nature of the beast to wonder if there's something missing. I am wretched, I am tired. Oh, the preacher, he's on fire. I wish I could believe him. Whoever watches over all these truckers, spare a little mercy for a weary sinner. And good Lord, deliver me. Good Lord, deliver me. Good Lord, deliver me to the next best western. Exeter Services Travel Lodge. Days in. Mrs. Grumpy's Guest House, Crediton. Well, there must be Mrs. Grumpy's in Crediton. I mean, just by default, there are about 2,500 Mrs. Grumpy's up and down the country. And they're a chain, and people just don't realise that they're actually a chain. They are the most miserable accommodation experiences. They're an unparalleled horror. I can't think of any other country in the world that is as bad as Mrs. Grumpy's guest houses. Breakfast is at 7:15. Breakfast finishes at 7 o'clock. Vacate your rooms by 7:15. There's never less than 20 little handwritten notes telling you what you can't do. And they are, amongst other things, the last bastion of that great British, or not so great now, British institution, maybe after next weekend, the nylon sheet. It's Mrs. Grumpy's guest houses that keep that one little factory still churning in Wolverhampton. If you go north on M5, M6 interchange, look over to the left, just beyond where all the new sort of outlet shops are, where that old industrial area used to be in the railway sidings. Up back there's still one red brick factory spewing smoke with bolts of static electricity coming out of the roof. And if you should be driving down the street, that's on, you can always tell when it's shift change time, because the people have just come off shift. This is Grumpy's guest house. You're not here, are you? I've got lots more to say about them. I think they're all there. Us mere mortals, of course, are only allowed to use the notes that Peter Knight leaves behind for us. So you have to be very careful. I play in a band with him once a year for 2 weeks, and whenever you see members of Feast of Fiddles stop, that's because it's one of Peter's notes, and only he's allowed to play it. General store when I was 13. Thought it was the finest thing I ever did see. I asked if I could get one someday when I grew up. Mama looked at us and she nearly blew up. Nearly blew up, she didn't understand. Mama says the pistol is the devil's right hand. The devil's right hand, the devil's right hand. Mama says the pistol is the devil's right hand. The devil's right hand, the devil's right hand. Mama says the pistol is the devil's right hand. The devil's right hand, the devil's right hand. Mama says the pistol is the devil's right hand. Cap and ball Colt, shoots as fast as lightning, but a low time might slow, low time might slow. You can shoot a man down, get you into trouble, but it can get you out. My next pistol was a Colt 45, called it peacemaker, but I never knew why, didn't understand. Mama says the pistol is the devil's right hand, the devil's right hand, the devil's right hand. Mama says the pistol is the devil's right hand, the devil's right hand, the devil's right hand. Mama says the pistol is the devil's right hand. Town. Well, I caught a man cheating and I shut the dog down, watched the man fall. Never reached his host and never had a chance to draw. My trials in the morning, kicked me out of bed, asked me how I pleaded, not guilty I said, not guilty I said. You got the wrong man, the hand that pulled the trigger was the devil's right hand, the devil's right hand, the devil's right hand. The hand that pulled the trigger was the devil's right hand, the devil's right hand, the devil's right hand. The hand that pulled the trigger was the devil's right hand, the devil's right hand, the devil's right hand. The hand that pulled the trigger was the devil's right hand. Yes, Mrs. Grumbly's guest house. First ever encounter. It was actually in Scotland all those years ago. There was, for our sins, there was a thing called McTavish's Kitchen. Yes, some of you've been there. It was the folk singers' penance in the 70s. They did these week-long sort of things. They had to go and do this little residency, and they put you in a Mrs. Grumbly's, around Mrs. McGrumbly's in front. So there we were, staying at Mrs. McGrumbly's, and it was pretty grim, I have to say. And you sort of you had your snotty eggs and your limp bacon, and then she would come in like with 2 pieces of toast, and there'd be nothing to put on it. And after about the 3rd day, we plucked up courage to ask her, "Excuse me, Mrs. McGrumpy, do you think we could have some preserves to put on our toast?" And sure enough, the following morning, she walks in with a toast, and there is just one, tiny little industrial punnet, if that is indeed the right word, it's a local word, of honey. And we sat there contemplating this thing, and then I finally came with, Mrs. McGrumpy, I see you keep a bee. Those were the days. I realise that there are actually surprisingly youngish people here, and I don't want to give anyone the, yes, I know, you're 39, yeah. Times 2. And I don't want to give anyone the impression that skiving from school is actually a good thing. I don't have children, I'm not a leader of men or a leader of anyone, okay, so I'm just pointing out that it's just personal. You know, I had better things to do. It was as simple as that. But what I did learn to do was play guitar at school, me and a group of other lads, and we learned to play acoustic guitar, listening to an album that was made in 1964 by a bloke called Davy Graham. It's called Folk Blues and Beyond, and it was like the Damascene musical moment, basically, because it contained everything that we didn't know it existed. It contained acoustic blues, traditional folk music, a bit of jazz, a bit of world music before it was even called world music, and so on and so forth. And it was a very, very important, influential album. And I learned all the songs from it at the time, and I can still play just about most of them, of which this is one. And what it was with the blues was the Rolling Stones weren't explaining themselves, the Animals weren't explaining themselves, none of the R&B bands were explaining themselves, were provenance of the music that they were playing or writing music that matched to it, etc. They weren't actually giving us any explanations, and it was only the sleeve notes of the David Graham album that brought it to life, because all those fantastic names started from Big Bill Brinsley, Blind Lemon Jefferson, Champion Jack Dupre, who I admit when I was 13 years old I thought he was a sort of jolly Yorkshire bluesman. I'm Champion Jack Dupre. This is a song by a bluesman called Blind Willie Johnson, and it's called I Cannot Keep From Crying. Keep from crying sometimes. Cannot keep from crying sometimes. 'Cause my heart's full of sorrow and my eyes they're full of tears. I cannot keep from crying sometimes. Certain sheepers left me, I'd get on a little while. Soon it would be all over, I journey with a smile, but my thoughts as I get older, I dream of what I told her. I'll have to keep from crying sometimes. Cannot keep from crying sometimes. Cannot keep from crying sometimes. 'Cause my heart is full of sorrow and my eyes they're full of tears. I cannot keep from crying sometimes. I'm on the King's Highway and I'm traveling night and day. My mother's gone before me, so I must be on my way. And my father, he's gone too. My sister, she could not stay. I cannot keep from crying sometimes. I cannot keep from crying sometimes. I cannot keep from crying sometimes. 'Cause my heart is full of sorrow and my eyes they're full of tears. I cannot keep from crying sometimes. Tears. I cannot keep from crying sometimes. I cannot keep from crying sometimes. I cannot keep from crying. Civilians here. I spotted a few folkies. By the mention of the imminent visit of Dolly, I think I'm going to have to come to that. I'm a big Dolly fan. And indeed Kenny Rogers. Promise me, son, not to do what I have done. I like Kenny Rogers, isn't it? All right, I know they're not the real ones. I know it's a tribute, but hey. I mention it because this is a tribute. This is the only tribute that I do. Another very influential musician when we were sort of attempting to play and sing in the early days is a man called Nick Jones, who now lives on Dartmoor, and he had a particularly wonderful rocking guitar style, and it's the only time I've ever been to someone to say, teach me your version of this thing. And it's a broadside ballad, which is basically, I never felt more like singing the news. Broadside ballads were the news. It was how it was propagated to us, sung or shouted at us in rhyming couplets in street corners, not that long ago, my dears, you know. And quite a lot of it about a bloke called Napoleon. Oh, and the news was also always at least 3 weeks late as well. So this is from Nick Jones, and this is called The Warlike Lads of Russia. And it's a cracking chorus. The warlike lads of Russia, they fought all in one mind. You don't have to do all that stuff, I'm just blocking it as I do it. They made Bonaparte to run and leave his troops behind. Equally, if you want to do that, it's the guitar that's set in open G, okay? So if you can, although Nick uses open C, sorry, the Guitar Workshop's just started. Nick uses C modal, but I do it in open G because it's better for my voice, and then I don't have to use a bloody capo, which I hate anyway. And but all the moves are the same, okay? They're just moved one string over, okay? You all with me? There will be a written, thingy afterwards to make sure that you're all concentrating. Thank you, Nick. From Poland into Moscow he went, with all his troops and all his men, their minds fully bent. But to take the Russian country, they were full employed, while the Russians fought against them and they soon did them destroy. All the warlike lads of Russia, they fought all in one mind. They made Bonaparte to run and leave his troops behind, and that's your bit. Oh, the warlike lads of Russia, they fought all in one mind. They made Bonaparte to run and leave his troops behind. Now when from Muscovy city, oh, the Russians did retreat, neither Bonaparte nor all his men not anything could get. When from Muscovy city, the Russians took their flight, they set the town on fire, they burnt it down that night. Oh, the warlike lads of Russia, they fought all in one mind. They made Bonaparte to run and leave his troops behind. Now into Muscovy city, oh, the Russians did attack. Against Bonaparte and all his men, they killed them, took them, drove them back. But the action being so hot from right and left and front and rear, damn you, says old Bonaparte, I'll stay no longer here. Oh, the warlike lads of Russia, they fought all in one mind. They made Bonaparte to run and leave his troops behind. Then when Bonaparte as fast as he could run, over hedges and old ditches he left horses, men and guns, his boxes and his matches, munition wagons too. Well, he left them all behind him, what else could Bourbon do? Oh, the warlike lads of Russia, they fought all in one mind. They made Bonaparte to run and leave his troops behind. Then away then went Bonaparte as fast as he could ride, the poor Frenchmen that after him saying, oh, it's very hard, but I think you'd lead us all up here and leave us to our fate. Oh, you ought to stop along with us and help us in our state. All the warlike lads of Russia, they fought all in one mind. They made Bonaparte to run and leave his troops behind. Now here's 80,000 men from me they've killed and they've taken, besides 10,000 horses, fine 200 guns of cannon, and never more to Paris or French Flanders I'll advance. For if I do, I'll make sure they'll teach me how to dance. All the warlike lads of Russia,
They fought all in one lines, they made Bonaparte to run and leave his troops behind. And it's to concluding thus to try and finish off my song. Old Barney's made the Russians swear they wish they'd hold of him, and the cruelest death they put him to that ever did a man before. Cassius says, old Bonaparte, I am clear up you all. All the warlike lads of Russia, they fought all in one might, and made Bonaparte to run and leave his troops behind. All the warlike lads of Russia, they fought all in one might, they made Bonaparte to run and leave his troops behind. I can do about it now, I'm afraid. Let's get down to it. Most important instrument in the history of music. Of course, the ukulele. I was given one when I was 6. 1959 I was given one by our next door neighbour, Fred Milton. Wonderful old chap. And I still have that instrument. It's not playable anymore, but I've still got it. And it's the gateway to the guitar, and it's the gateway to the history of music, because there's no part of music for the last 4,000 years that hasn't got something to do with the ukulele. Prehistorically, admittedly, they didn't have strings, they used to hit them with stones, but they had ukuleles. And the ukulele has been significant in every single archaeological find. You know, they've just done this. I don't know why it just keeps on getting left out all the time. For instance, they've analysed all the ground around Stonehenge, and they've found the ukulele shop. Why it hasn't been mentioned, I don't know. Sutton Hoo, all they ever talk about is that bloody golden mask, you know, not the fact that the warrior king, whoever he was, had a sword in one hand and a ukulele in the other. And the first thing that Howard Carter saw when he bashed through the wall into Tutankhamun's tomb was an Egyptian ukulele, you know. Anyway, I won't go on about it, I'm not bitter. But as many of you know, when George Harrison didn't even bother to keep a guitar at home, he left them all in Abbey Road, and all the actual real work was done on one of these. Gig's already over. Ukulele workshop. Now, every time I look into, and you know, the lost Bach sonatas for the ukulele, you know, it just goes on. Gilbert and Sullivan's, you know, operetta for ukulele, and all the rest of it. But O'Carolan, the famous mid-period Irish courtly composer, he didn't actually have a harp. Okay, they were much too expensive. He had a large pile of peat and 2 horizontally posed ukuleles. And once you start actually analysing the music, it's bloody obvious. Obvious, you know, and then of course another of these things that seems to be somehow suppressed, But 5 years ago, someone arrived with an old crate of antiquarian books in Dublin Library. And the antiquarian book librarian opened it, dusted off the first one, and I know there are those of you who are very into your Irish music and play fiddle and mandolin, and indeed your very own Mr. Nick Scott is here tonight, fantastic Julian Piper, and you will all be familiar. You will all be familiar with probably one of the most comprehensive collections, which is O'Neill's 1001 Irish dance tunes for the fiddle. But it's a very modern version of a book that's been missing for 200 years. And the actual original was, the missing copy was found in this chest. They opened up the chest, dusted up, and there it was, O'Neill's 1001 Irish dance tunes for the Celtic ukulele. Only eclipsed by the book that was actually underneath it. When they dusted that off, an even greater revelation, missing for even longer, is Irish Step Dancing Volume 2, How to Incorporate the Arms. I am, of course, prepared to back all this up. And all I can say is the ukulele made me do it. First you get down on your knees, fiddle with your rosaries, bow your head with great respect and genuflect, genuflect, genuflect. Take a cross on your abdomen, when in Rome do like a Roman. Ave Maria, Jesus, good to see you, doing the Vatican rag. Step into that small confessional, step into that small confessional. They're the man who's got religional. Tell you if your sin's original. If you just try, then it's safer. Drink the wine and chew the wafer. 2, 4, 6, 8. Time to transubstantiate. So get down up on your knees, fiddle with your rosaries, bow your head with great respect and genuflect, genuflect, genuflect to whatever steps you want. If you have cleared them with the pontiff, everybody do some Kyrie eleison, getting extravagant, sort of dramatic, doing a Vatican rag. It'll be my epitaph, the ukulele made me do it. And well, that's that government directive. How long ago was it? The idea that all newborn children in the ever diminishing British Isles should be given 200 or 250 quid to start them off in life. I'm not one for shouting at the telly because it's all such bullshit anyway. But I just, no, just give them a ukulele. Imagine how many happy, balanced children you have and how many demented parents. That'd be good, just give them all a ukulele. Right, I'm just checking that you're an interval audience. It's only that I'm going to have one, so we need to be sort of in sync. And we have a lovely guest spot in the second half from some very fine local singers. So I think it's suitable that we should sing a nice chorus together. This song was written by my very good friend, Mr. Reg Muros. It's a kind of little country style song. And Reg has actually cracked it by being the first person in history to write a lovely song with the word Birmingham in it. It's got a lovely chorus. I'm going to show you. Good night, you Birmingham ladies. Good night, you Birmingham men. I remember so well we danced till we fell. Will we sing all the sad songs again? That's your bit. Now, people are fond of taking the piss out of country and western music, etc. I think country music is extremely important, and for this reason, which I will now demonstrate. Because you all learn to play guitar by Burt Whedon's Play in a Day, all those fantastic books, but they all give you where to put your fingers on a grid to create a chord. So they give you that little graphical representation of your fingertips on strings on frets, which shows you how to play the chord C or the chord G. Now that's fine because it gets you going straight away, because it shows you where to put your fingers, but it's a straitjacket as well, because unless you break out of that, just doing what the little grids tell you, you'll never get anywhere. And country music breaks the paradigm, because country music gives us our first single note run. Are you ready? And it's really important. I know it's a simple little thing, but once it dawns on you to go, there'll be no stopping you. Who knows where it's going to lead, It might even lead up to there where the dust is. So, so never, ever take the piss out of the humble country western song, unless it's by a man called Rex Allen Jr., because I just discovered some of his recordings I didn't know I still had. Last of the silver screen cowboys, how we settled our scores with our fists. How we loved little babies, we treated women like ladies, but it was always our horses we kissed. And you are immediately thinking, obviously, this is a piece of musical comedy. I can only assure you that he was absolutely serious. And check out Rex Allen Jr., there are dozens of songs like that. Anyway, I digress. Good night, you Birmingham ladies. Good night, you Birmingham men. I remember so well we danced till we fell. Will we sing all the sad songs again? Then there will be a break. I've run out of solo albums. It's been a bit of a good run, okay? And the new live album is not ready yet, which represents this set. It won't be ready for another week. And I'm not one of those people who's going to start flogging people brown paper bags, as so many other people do. If you really want the live album, which contains about 2/3 of this set, just stick your email addresses down on the thing and put live beside it, and we'll email you as soon as it actually arrives. And it also gives you a 5 or 6 day cooling off period to change your minds, okay? So it's that simple. But most of the songs I'm doing tonight will be on the new forthcoming live album. I will sleep tonight in a stranger's bed. I will lay my head where a stranger's head. Never heard your voice or the words that you said, and I wish I was with you again. Here it comes. Good night, you Birmingham ladies. Good night, you Birmingham men. I remember so well how we danced till we fell. We sing all the sad songs again. a seaside town shoulder. You talked all night, and I kissed your face. You held me tight, and you said everything, it would turn just right. And I wish I was with you again. Give it a go. Good night, you Birmingham ladies. Good night, you Birmingham men. I remember so well how we danced till we fell. We sing all the sad songs again. With fools and magnificent failures, our old unreliable friends. I remember so well how we danced till we fell. We sing all the sad songs again. Now the sunlight flies through the passing trees. I wish you were riding this train with me. When I close my eyes, it's your face I see. And I wish I was with you again. I think it's yours. Good night, you Birmingham ladies. Good night, you Birmingham men. I remember so well how we danced till we fell. Sad songs again. Good night, you Birmingham ladies. Good night, you Birmingham men. Oh, the Toreador, he is sleeping next door, and the bull ring is silent again. Well done, see you in a minute.